Why? What's the appeal in that?
I think I think with men, they like to get a buzz out of it, to see if, who they can pull, and sometimes it can become a bit of a game.
Okay.
That's quite a lot of it. I think that's quite an immature approach, but...
It is, but that's
well, then
what
again,
you get.
men mature a little bit slower than women,
Yeah.
and that's just a fact, isn't it?
Yeah, sure. I mean, in the clubbing scene, that's what guys are there for. They
Yeah,
go
but
there,
I don't
have a drink.
understand why they would just, I mean, what's the game, or what's the appeal in trying to pull an older woman as opposed to somebody their own age or younger?
Sometimes it's easier. I'm not saying from myself, this is what the feedback I got from the panel, so don't get me wrong. But a lot of guys feel that if they're going to be rejected by women that are either younger than them or, because of their physical appearance, it's easier to go for an older woman because they're less likely to be rejected. So it's like a comfort zone for them.
See, I find that quite offensive, and I don't know if you agree with me, Rita. I mean,
You
just
probably
because
would,
you're an
but
older
this
woman
isn't-
doesn't mean you're just going to sleep with whoever whoever approaches
Precisely.
you.
And I think, I get a lot of that. I get a lot of younger guys assuming that I'm some kind of madam and that I can produce older women for them to practice on. But guys, let me assure you that if you come and approach a woman like me with that kind of attitude, you are not going to last 5 seconds.
But Rita, do you find yourself teaching these younger guys a
Well,
thing or
I think
two?
I maybe need to a sideline. I think I need to do a module for younger guys on how to treat the cougar, because you're right. In some ways, it does tend to attract that maybe the men that are lacking in confidence, that think somehow the older woman will tutor them. But hold on, this is a two-way deal, that the older woman, maybe some older women are just in it for the sex. I mean, a lot of it in the Asian community is more about love, people falling in love, and I see stuff across the board, so I can talk about the sexual side of it, and I can talk about the love side of it. I never say it's one thing.
Right, okay.
It's not about the older woman preying on the younger man or it fulfilling just a sexual...
See, I don't like the whole, labeling cougar. I mean,
Yeah.
what's the label for an older man that goes out with a younger woman? It's always something positive.
Yeah.
We'll go into that in just a little while. You're watching Broken Silence. We'll be back after this short break.
Do you think it's socially acceptable?
Depends how much younger.
What the age gap is like between them. If it's like over 10 years or something, then I think it's a bit much.
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, there's probably a limit on how big the age gap should be, but no, I think people should be able to go out with who they want to, really.
I think it's totally socially acceptable that
They can date.
Yeah, why not? Why? If it was the other way around, it wouldn't matter, would it? But if it's males and females, it doesn't matter.
I think so, yeah. I don't think there's anything socially wrong with something like that. No, I think it's absolutely fine.
I think generally it is not accepted, but it should be acceptable, yes. As far as I'm concerned, I agree with it, and I would not put any obstacle to it.
Do you think it's socially acceptable?
No, not really. People don't really accept it.
Probably not. Maybe more so here in England, but in a lot of countries, no.
It's not acceptable, man. They're too old for us, man. Like, what age are you talking about?
For example, if the guy was 20 and the woman was about 50?
No, that's not, no. I don't accept that. That's not nice, because they're too
That's not too old.
That is too old. That is too old.
Hi, welcome back to Broken Silence. I'm Sonia Gardez. Today we're talking to Rita Sanga, who runs a website called WomenWhoLoveYoungerMen.com, and Max Lofer, the editor of the only Asian Lads magazine out right now. And we're asking the question, when a woman loves a younger man, she's labeled a cougar. When a man is dating a younger woman, he's a stud. Do you see that changing anytime soon? Rita, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I think I embrace the word cougar, but it's very much a very narrow term. It doesn't embrace the whole, what I see, qualities of these types of relationships.
But it suggests that you're preying on the weak and the feeble.
Yeah.
When you know that these younger men that you're dating, or any woman is dating, are probably far from being weak and feeble.
Absolutely, because I think society has a problem with a strong woman, a woman being in control, in power. like I said, I might have mentioned earlier, you know, in our community, the man is very much supposed to be the breadwinner. I'm sure there's lots of your viewers out there, they're going to be totally shocked by this. Because, you know, we still live in a community that's very patriarchal in nature, in that men run the show. But, you know, we have to, I feel like I'm representing changes in society that are definitely going on, and that women's roles are changing and they have more choices these days. Although, you know, I don't diss the word cougar, I'm not one of these women who says, oh, I'm totally outraged by the word cougar. I take it in, you know, light-hearted way, but then I choose to define myself in the way that I do, and also the women that I work with. And then, you know, we call the men toy boys, or we call them cubs. I don't know if you've heard that term.
Oh, how cute. I like cubs.
We call them the cubbies, but then again, it's an affectionate term, but, you know, I think it is narrow as well.
Well, the website is Women Who Love Younger Men.
That, precisely.
Could you love a man that wasn't younger?
Well, yeah, I never say never, but, you know, generally I don't really find older men attractive because they don't take care of themselves. And number two, that their whole outlook on life is very jaded, or they're not as dynamic, or, you know, they have a baggage. That's another big thing.
Are you just talking about Asian men? Because perhaps you might be onto something if you're just referring to Asian men.
Well, you know, I have to say that I really don't, and this is probably going to cause shockwaves, I don't really find Asian men that attractive. I know.
You're admitting that?
I'm admitting it. I really don't date a lot of Asian guys. Potentially because I guess I'm quite a strong Asian woman, and what I represent maybe doesn't appeal to them. Maybe they wouldn't be able to take me home to their mothers. Who knows? But I also, you know, I have to say I do find them quite a lot more immature.
Asian men?
Yeah. And, you know, I hate generalisations. You know, I'm going to wind him up now.
Max, do you want to defend the Asian men out there?
Well, I did say our panel, our panel's feedback was that they would go after a woman in a club which was older than them just to lead them on. You know,
so you're
which is very mature.
You're agreeing with Rita there, and you are saying that Asian men are quite immature.
Yes, after a few drinks, they are immature. and what man is it? You don't have to be Asian to be immature after a few drinks. You can go across any part of the world, and 99.9% when men get drunk, they will do stupid, immature things, and I'm one of them, and it's great.
But I suppose, being from a culturally Asian background, I always find that Asian men get away with murder. You know, quite often the girl and if you have a son and a daughter, the son can go out clubbing every night of the week or whatever, but you know, the daughter has to toe the line. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Does that still go on? I don't know.
No, you're not wrong.
Changing.
You're not wrong. And actually, you know, I think this season, the tone that we're taking, I think the theme of this season is that Asian girls in particular, women, have these two personalities. You know, there's the one at home, and there's the one that you have on the weekend when you go out with your girlfriend. Yeah. And I think when you see an Asian woman bring those two together and being who she is and being really vocal and open and honest about it, it's shunned upon, it's frowned upon, and it's not acceptable. Yeah. And even the people that are watching us now, there are probably going to be women who are going to be saying, yeah, I love to date younger men, and I go out with younger men, but would never, ever openly admit it.
Yeah.
But you say that your website's called
Women Who Love Younger Men.
Right. And why do older women prefer younger men? Is it a sexual thing or is it a love thing?
Well, it's a bit of both. It can be. I think half the time it's either you're attracting younger men because you don't look your age, like I said, or number two, you've come out of a long marriage, and again, you know, like Sanya was saying earlier, you know, I represent a 40-year-old woman, and what a 40-year-old woman is capable of looking like, whereas 20, 30 years ago, you just didn't have access to all these kinds of, you know, things that you could do to help yourself still look good, and the fact that some women still do want to make themselves look good. So you're bound to attract different, you know, we're living in a different society, so there's more options. But, you know, if you look throughout history, the older woman, younger man union has been around forever. There is no two ways about it, but it's the way it's society. For example,
well, it has been around forever. I understand that, and I know that, you know, if you look at certain religions and you'll see that